have your Golden Gate Bridge behind me.
Right there. Sorry, taking the test.
Good.
That unmute you.
Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, all.
Morning, Doug.
Morning.
Good morning. Does anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I guess. Sounds good.
Okay.
You want to get rid of the Golden Gate Bridge, you can do that.
Mary used the computer yesterday for a Zoom meeting and added the Golden Gate Bridge behind me. So
Ah,
I wonder how come I don't have my messy office behind me? And my hair keeps flopping around.
I thought you were out on a picnic someplace.
My hair keeps going back and forth. So everyone gets opened whenever they come in. Okay. Al would love to be here, but Al was unable to. For a family emergency, was not able to show up, and that was what Lynn told me. So I'm going to run the meeting today, and so all our practice is kind of in vain. Ed Marin talked to Ed Marin sideways down there. That's good. You're sideways, Ed. He talked with Dave Grenier and the Daylight Division people, so some of them may be joining us too, which is good. We're going to start off with a presentation by Ed, and it'll run for 10, 15 minutes maybe, and then I'll do a quick video. I have 2 videos of my layout, and then I'll be open up for any little questions. I have another meeting scheduled for when this is over if we want to go to that, but we don't have to. If everyone's done with this in 40 minutes, that's fine. But if not, we can go on to another one. I see Adam's got a haircut.
Yep.
Well, it couldn't wait, huh?
Nope.
I scheduled mine. My next one was scheduled for July 8th. So I just left it there. I said, I'll skip one, big deal. So it's a little, looks doesn't look too bad, except for that kind of waving because of the picture in the background. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to wait till we're about 5 minutes in to make sure everyone is connected.
Can you get Ed right side up?
I can't do anything about it. It's up to Ed.
He's on his like lying down.
Yeah, you just got to turn your head sideways to see him.
He's always sideways.
Okay.
I don't know if always is the right word, but
You got it turned on.
There you go.
Hey.
hey, you're right side up, Ed.
Animation.
Okay, everybody together now, right?
Right.
Or coffee. And Gus, I forwarded this or the email notice to a couple of guys from Coast Division. They'll be joining in here. I see Mike O'Dorney and Brian Booth that
A little louder.
jumped in already,
Right.
and whoever else.
I just got to keep remembering to look over at the right side and admit people as they ask to come in.
That's right.
I had said you could join the meeting before it started, but I didn't know if there's a button that says just admit people as they come in. So I may have to keep my eye on that over there. We are, like I said, we are limited to exactly 40 minutes as far as I know. But I did set up a meeting for 11:45, and I'll towards the end of this meeting I'll show that screen so people can find the number of the meeting and the password
Where are you?
if they want to continue on with discussions of any kind. If we had our paid thing, which Al has worked on, we would have a longer time period. And we had thought about starting the meeting with introductions, having everyone say, hello, I'm so-and-so, like we do at the meetings. But we've also decided that since this is only a 40-minute meeting, we'll just do our two little presentations and then whatever left over for at the end.
Either questions or introductions at the end.
Yeah, whatever time we have left. So,
When can I expect Mary to come by with the sandwiches?
she's already here, but there's no bread, so there's no sandwiches. Sorry
There is
about that.
too.
Now,
Oh, okay.
I have to keep her around.
I was tempted. I really was. I was going to bring in a
Her
big
hand
platter of
is- Her hand
sandwiches.
is here, but she's not here.
That's because I'm hiding behind you.
You're hiding behind
Yeah.
the funny screen they put on.
We have virtual sandwiches.
Virtual. Yeah, Mary says we have virtual sandwiches. That'll do.
There you go.
Okay, so we're far enough into this thing. We should have Ed start now. So Ed, you ready? You have to unmute yourself.
Unmute. Okay, can you hear me now?
Now
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is before I start, I'm going to put my camera on reverse here so you can see there's some little boxes of envelopes. That should be thrilling, right?
Right.
And so what I'm going to do is talk about what a couple of projects I've been working on during the shutdown. And some of you have already seen me show something like this, although that was a week or two ago. And most of you on the list there have probably been to this layout at some point in the past, and some of you have operated on it. But if not, this is the NWP, and in about 1958. And I'm walking over to Petaluma right now, where all the action has been. So I'm going to talk about two projects. One is the drawbridge that goes over the river for one of the Petaluma streets. It's not a railroad bridge, so I've been working on that. And the other is some work I've been doing on passenger cars, and every time I show this, I'm further along, so it's never quite the same. Basically, I've had some difficulty trying to reconstruct NWP passenger trains because of the difficulty finding reasonably accurate Harriman-style baggage cars. And at the Portland NMRA National, in the silent auction was a bunch of Ken Kidder cars. So I bought several of them, four of them actually, 3 baggage cars, and they sat on a shelf all these years, and I finally decided to do something about them. In the meantime, I'd also discovered Southern Car and Foundry, so I'll get to them. So here's three Ken of the 4 Ken Kidder cars, and I've been basically using them to practice. So
Spotlight, Ed,
yeah,
because we're just getting a little tiny page. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, if
I'm
let
wrong.
me
I'm
step
wrong.
in here for a minute. I forgot to tell you this. If you click on his picture, there's three little dashes up in the top right corner. Click on that and then put pin video, and his video will show up big and
Thank
stay
you.
on no matter who talks.
Has that worked?
Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
good, good. Okay. Or you could use a magnifying glass. That might be interesting.
Optivisors.
So, anyways, I have some really beautiful precision scale Harriman cars, not baggage cars. I couldn't find any, but I didn't want to touch them until I practiced on these chintzy cheap Ken Kidder cars. So if I screw them up, it's not the end of the world. So I've been learning on them. And one of the things that before I got started with the painting is that I did something with the underbodies. This is what they come with for underbodies. There's a little piece of wood, and there's a little strip of brass there where you screw the trucks in. No underbody details whatsoever. And I thought I'd play around with, there's a blog that I found on the web where a model maker, I don't know the guy, and if anyone wants to link to it, I can send it to you. But basically what he does for his customers is he takes styrene and makes a new bottom. And you can see how it would fit in, the little slots fit in the over these little strips that the bottom attaches to. And then he puts in all the little beams and things, and you go out and buy some underbody details, and there you go. And then now when the car goes by on the track, it looks like there's something under there. So anyway, so this first one is a coach. That's what Ken Kidder calls it. And one of the problems with Ken Kidder cars is that they're frequently falling apart. You can see the seam there, the solder seam has been coming off, but that's life. So I got carried away. I found a decent green, and I painted the things and put some decals on this coach, and I just couldn't stop, and I had to put some details in, some window shades and frosted glass on the bathroom windows and some people on seats. I don't know why I did that. Those are Walther's trucks underneath. They work really well for this. And then this one, I just finished this. I haven't painted the trucks yet. I had some brass precision scale trucks lying around, and they're almost the right trucks. And these are thin film decals. They're really good, but if you have the chance to do this kind of stuff, just excellent decals. The ones over here, the Northwestern Pacific, these are done by a guy in Auburn, International Hobbies, who's sold NWP decals for years, but he no longer keeps them on his website. And instead, but you have to order them by email. And I suspect that he's still using the old stock because they break apart really easily. It's very frustrating. You have to have more than you need because you're going to ruin some of them. They just fall apart when you're trying to put them on. They're also too short. So the Northwestern Pacific up on the top there is too short for the prototype. And it's really hard to find the right decals for NWP. Microscale makes a nice set, except that it's kind of screwy because they don't put the right numbers in and things like that. So, life is tough. And then here's another, this is the first Ken Kidder I did. So it's not bad. It doesn't have all the fancy details, that you might see, but it's reasonable for operating, and it's got, again, I've got some Walther's trucks on it, and it rolls really well. It takes a little fussing to get the coupler heights right. And then finally, this on and off took me 2 years to build. This is a Southern Car and Foundry resin kit. It's a bear to make this thing, but it seems to be okay as far as I can tell. I haven't tried running it on a layout yet to find out if it tracks okay. Now, when I get to the Redwood with the newer streamlined stuff, they used a 70-foot baggage car painted aluminum. So I have the Southern Car and Foundry kit for that. And I just put this here just to show you what it looks like. And I haven't started making that yet. So Anyways, so that's that. And if anyone has any questions or, thoughts about it, you can sort of relay them to me. And then I wanted to talk about this bridge. So those of you that are familiar with what I'm doing know that I've been spending a lot of time the last few years recreating or approximating scenes in Petaluma around the river. In fact, that was one of the reasons that I put Petaluma on the layout, was so I could do that. So, I've done some clinics, and here's Petaluma down here. I've done some clinics about Water Street, and this is the Water Street section. And it's taken me, these are, almost everything has to be scratch built because there's really nothing available anywhere that looks at all like these buildings, which you don't realize until you start to get around to trying to make them. And of course, there's a waterfront, so I had to do a lot of work putting in all this boating stuff and the docks and whatnot. And finally, and then over in here, we got this kind of stuff. Finally, we get to the bridge. Back in the 90s, I had a smaller NWP layout, and I started to make the bridge, and I got about as far as the little control house there, which is selectively compressed. So I managed to save that and stick it in. And so here, I have some photos of the real thing, but I don't want to, spend time going over that. But I've been building this thing, and I'm putting it in place. So it's not something that you build, or that I'm building on the workbench and then putting down. Instead, I'm building it in place. And I had to carve out slightly different contours on the shoreline there, and but here it is, and it's you see a template there for the bridge girders, and I'll get to that a minute because that's actually what I'm starting to work on now. So I have the approaches done, and I just wanted to point out a few details that I put on this thing, and I may add more as I think about it. You notice they've got the boating people, what do you call it when you have the piles there to keep boats from damaging the bridge? I don't know what you call that, but there they are, and they're on both sides. You notice that there is a speed limit over here, 5 miles an hour, and I checked with our R.E.D member, Tom Swearingen, about what happens if somebody goes faster than 5 miles an hour, and apparently nothing. So, anyways, it's interesting. So you notice that there's a little ladder kind of thing there, so someone can walk. I don't know why they would need to do that, because you can get there from the front of the building too, but there's a ladder that you can climb up to get to that spot. And there is going to be a bell there, right in that area that used to be there. It's somewhere else now. This is supposed to be 58 approximately, remember? And then over here, we've got this structure, which is some kind of signal light. I have no idea how it worked or when it stopped working, but when I was there taking pictures in the late 90s, it didn't work. So it sits there. So there it is. And there's a little ladder you can walk up from a platform there too to go do something. I'm not sure what you'd want to do, but there must have been some maintenance stuff that they had to take care of. Anyhow, you notice that we have street lights, which will be lit, and you have crossing gates to keep cars from driving into the water. And there's also, what I haven't done yet is there's another little gate that's on the back that blocks the sidewalk as well. So anyways, and of course they're on both ends. You know, they put those neat little stop signs on there. Now this is kind of patterned after how it looked in the 90s, or rather in the 50s. I actually, my photos were originally from the 90s, and you can see that I'm going to show you some pictures. This is what it looked like in the 90s, and it's kind of a pale green color. And now if you get some contemporary pictures, that's a dark gray. So I actually don't know what the color was in my era, which would be kind of more like this shot, because there are always these pictures, which I got from the Sonoma County Library, are all black and white. So who knows? So I guess it's up to me as to what color to paint the girders. So here I am working on girders as we speak, actually. And the problem is that there are no girders like the girders on this bridge available commercially that I could find. Because if you take a look again at this little shot here is the best view I have of it. You can see that they're kind of on the top. They have a flat riveted surface, and then it's kind of narrow, and then on the bottom is web. So the only webbed stuff I could find was this Central Valley stuff. But it winds up, if you use the materials for this, you get a box kind of shape rather than a flat shape. So what I do is I basically cut down the sides and put them together. So that's how I've dealt with that. So we'll see how it looks. And then I'm starting to figure out how to put the verticals in there. And of course, and so forth and so on. There's going to have to be lots and lots of gussets and stuff, and I may have to make them myself out of styrene, although I do have, this is the what you get in the bridge kit, from Central Valley, but it's not a very good selection, and I think that they're a little too thick, quite frankly. And then in addition, I have this paper kind of thing, which is from the Campbell's bridge kit. These are bridge kits that I bought in the early 90s and never used, so I've been having them sit around, and so finally I actually have something to do with them, just, rip them apart and use the parts. So that's about it. Well, somebody asked me if it was going to operate, if it was going to go up and down, and I said, I don't think so, but I may leave the span there, the bridge span in loosely, so that if I want to tilt it up for photographs, I can do that. You can see the little boat there. There's no way that the little boat could get through unless the bridge was up. So, it's very definitely used to be a very common practice is having to lift this bridge up. In fact, I've got pictures from when I was there, in the 90s, and I was able to get nice shots of the steamboat, Petaluma Queen or whatever it was called, going under it. And I have a video I found on the web of the bridge in an up position with boats going through. So it was quite a thing. It's been refurbished. It was built in 1933. It was refurbished in the early 50s, again about in the early 2000s, and about 10 years after that. And apparently there are bids out now to do another overhaul because they've had some technical problems. So if anybody here hasn't seen this bridge, you ought to hop on down to Petaluma and take a look, because it's really kind of interesting structure. Okay, that's it. Any questions or reflections?
Ed,
Oh,
you
that was good.
about those pile things, what they would be called?
Yes.
They're called fenders.
Fenders, okay. I always think of, an old Chevy or something when I hear that word, but that's okay. Fenders, all right. And the Coast Guard is supposed to be real worried about the condition of the fenders. At least that was the case down with the Haystack Bridge. So, thank you, Vern. Okay, I'll turn it back over.
Okay, so I'd like to start the next part of the meeting. I have, through Clark's son, picked up four passenger cars that were the Erie Stillwell cars that the California Western used for their Super Skunk when they got the new number 45, the 282, I think it is. And I got the engine and the four cars. Well, the engine turns out not to be DCC, so I have a picture of it being pulled by the bicentennial unit diesel. And so I thought that would be appropriate. So I'm going to do is share my screen. And let's see, I gotta remember which one I want to share. Share is the, I do this every time. No. Never remember which one I want to share. I think this one. Yeah, okay. So here's the first video, and I'm probably going to fast forward a couple times during it just because there's some really bad spots, but we'll see how it goes. You should be hearing it, but I don't hear it at all. My speakers are unplugged. Last time I did this, I didn't have the speakers on. So this is the bicentennial unit pulling the 4 Erie Stillwell coaches. These are Pacific Fast Mail. Is that what it's called? They're nice cars. There's very little underbody detail. A little bit more than Ed's 10 kidder cars had. They weigh a ton.
Don't have the video.
You want this chair?
No.
I can't really see any sort of video here. I can see your screen, but I can't see the video.
What you need to do is go to the upper right-hand corner of my screen and click on that little three tabs that are up there, and say pin the video.
Where's that?
Because I think the problem is that we're looking at a river with a bunch of trees changing color. You need to get the video up on your screen.
It's on my screen, and I am screen sharing.
When you have multiple screen, you have one screen or multiple screens?
Well, right now I have the people on the side, but basically I have one big screen showing.
Us, do you need to take your earbuds out or something?
I don't have any, everything's unplugged. If you can hear me, my microphone is working, but my speakers aren't picking up the sound of the video for whatever reason.
Yeah, I just have a Bing screen. It's a river and it says Bing on it.
Okay, so let's see if I can stop this for a minute.
It's a very nice picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Somehow I got the wrong. So this is my Al was supposed to do this. Okay, where are we at? Where's my Zoom? I've lost everything now.
Gus, I think you've grabbed the wrong screen to share. If you go down to share screen, click on that, you'll get a picture of the various windows that are open on your computer. And then you can click on the appropriate one and hit share down in the right-hand corner of your screen, and that might work.
That's what happened was I went to the wrong one here. Let's see, return to meeting. Okay. Nope. You are screen sharing. Stop share. Okay. Okay. Now I've got stop share. Now I want to go back to share screen. Sorry about this, guys.
All good.
Which one do I want to share? That's the question. This one, I guess. Yep. Okay. Let's start this again. You see this, Super Skunk?
Ah, there we go.
Good. It's working.
Okay.
I don't know why I don't have sound on it, because it does have sound. And when I was hearing it before, I could hear the sound. And I've got my sound turned on, and the sound on this thing is turned on. Full sound. Well, I'll just kind of do this here. So We're leaving the Fort Bragg station. I haven't figured out how to tell my camera not to refocus all the time. It's probably a setting that I need to use.
Now you've turned that thing into a selfie stick.
I think we need to work on the cemetery and
Oh, cool.
the monuments have to be turned 90 degrees to look right, because they're all facing downhill, sideways, and they should be plumb, but facing uphill or downhill. But as I said, these are very nice cars, but they weigh a ton, and a single steam engine won't pull them, 4 of them. And this is all my railroad is pretty much flat. Coming off the bridge. And there's no interior details or lighting, so that will be something I will think about taking them apart, put some seats and people inside. But it's not a big high priority getting the rest of the scenery and stuff. This is a work in progress for the Boy Scout camp. I bought a couple of kits with Indian things with teepees and canoes and fire pits and all sorts of stuff to add to it. They have another kit with the same 6 tents. These were apparently painted by Clark Stewart. Did a nice, very nice job on the paint. I'm not hearing anybody. Is anybody still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great looking backdrop.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ron Kaiser. The backdrop looks great.
Yeah, that's
Came
kind
into
of,
one area that's got some scenery up behind the track. This is sort of what the whole railroad will look like eventually. The trains
Nice.
behind the trees and in front of the trees and the backdrop trees.
Are those supposed to be stumps?
Yeah, they're pieces of fake cork that I cut on an angle, but they're just approximate, just for temporary.
Good.
So here the train's going to disappear in the tunnel, but it's going to have to stop because it's going to derail. Whoops.
Oh,
So that's the end of the first video. Good. We can keep it going. Good. So we need to do is go back to my screen. I'm going to run this level 2 video. Are you seeing this full screen?
yes.
So here we're coming out of tunnel.
Look at the date on the tunnel. How'd you do that?
The date on what?
The date on the tunnel portal.
That came with it. And probably the wrong date. Probably a little too early. But oh well. So I think it's interesting. It goes in as a diesel and comes out as 2 steamers.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Must have a transmogrifier somewhere.
Something like that.
I think it's called a flux capacitor.
Oh, okay. We should have had a real flash of light in there then. Yeah, when I edited this, I tried to get rid of most of those flashy, blurry things, but it seemed like a lot of it was out of focus, and I couldn't figure out how to tell my camera to be focused. So it's a inexpensive point and shoot digital camera. Oops. This is an area the loggers have cleared, cut, and pulled the stumps out even. The new trees haven't started growing yet. Hopefully they will soon.
You gotta water them.
Oh, and I have a roof over the building so they don't get watered.
Always wondered what your secret was, Ron.
This bridge was on Harold's layout, and I always really liked it. I was really kind of glad that Clark saved it and gave it to me. It was facing the other direction, so you were seeing the outside curve of it instead of the inside curve.
Of course, Harold built it for both sides.
Of course. It had details on the backside as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why on the second video when I put the titles up it went blurry.
Oh well.
Yeah. I'm learning this video editing thing. And then, of course, the brakeman on the 5723 there forgot to throw the switch ahead of them to get out of the siding, so the steamer had to back up and get out because it was going the wrong way. Engineer wasn't paying enough attention to stop the train in time. But at least they didn't do a cornfield. And the brakeman has to come in. Plaid shirt.
Guy is huge.
Yeah, he was. He's a big guy.
By the by, I just read that at least on the Northern Pacific, steam locomotive headlights were not used in the daytime. I don't know if that's universal or not.
Well, it's like to have it on so I know that the thing's getting power. I tried to stop the train so I could water the engines, but there's no spout on here, so didn't happen. Tank without a spout.
If you don't get enough water in there, you might have a boiler explosion.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. We slowed down so that they could throw water at it at least.
Yeah. It's a virtual water stop.
Yeah, something like that. And I hope to put some sort of a little building next to the water tank there for the station where it pops out like that. This is still a little bit of a trouble spot on the layout. I'll have to figure out why. Still, it's a little electrical trouble spot here. You'll see the engine will die even with the keep alive in it. The second one stopped and then came back on. And these water scenes were put together by Jim Gray. He did a real nice job. I'm hoping he comes back and does some more. Adds to him and continues his scenery work around them. One thing I noticed is this engine runs really rough. You notice it's jumping around. The track is real smooth. It's the counterweights on the drivers, and from what I heard from real engines, the little smaller ones did that a lot. But that first one really jumps a lot more than the second one. So there goes the train over to tunnel number 2. I didn't run it up that helix because I didn't want to crawl in there in case it didn't make it up to the top. So there's the video.
Yes, I have a suggestion for making it possible for a single steam engine to haul your passenger cars.
Yes.
Northwest Short Line, Stanton Drive.
Okay.
They come in various lengths, spacing between the axles.
Right.
You use your own side frames, and you mount it in one end of the passenger car.
Right.
I've seen it done, and done well, on the Napa Valley Club by Rich Heller.
Good. So that was my little part of my presentation. So does anyone want to chime in with what's going on? Please feel free.
Yes, I have a questions, Peter.
Yeah.
How did you hold your camera still? A lot of us move the camera around. Did you have a tripod?
Yes, I use a tripod.
With what kind of a camera?
It's my Fuji that looks like a 35 millimeter, but it has a fixed lens.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a zoom lens, but it's not a removable lens. It's not quite.
It's not an iPad or
an SLR.
iPhone. No. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Nice. See that going.
Ed had a really nice little tripod that holds onto his iPhone.
Okay.
In fact, I'm holding it right now. But you can't see it because the phone's in it.
And last time we tried to show it, all we saw was his hand.
Yeah.
Didn't you have a picture of your 45 model?
No, I did not take a picture of it while it was out of the box.
Oh, okay.
I probably should have. But Clark had done a really nice job with that one. Originally, Trevor gave me the 43, which is black. And I said, okay, put on the track, no DCC. I thought, okay. So I wrote to him and said, just in case, since you found the 44, the 43, and the 45, if one of the other ones has DCC, I really would like to have that one because you guys don't have a layout yet. And so they brought the 45 over, and it does not have DCC either. The box says it does, but the engine does not have it. There's no extra wires. There's nothing. When you put on the track, it comes up error 3, no decoder found.
Project.
So it's a project for Bob Battles. Then get a decoder into it. So any more questions of what's going on, or how did this work out for anyone other than the fact I didn't get the sound?
For future sort of show and tells, who do I contact if I want to present something?
Al.
Al. Okay.
Once Al is returned from his emergency.
He's still pretty sick?
Lynn just said he had a family emergency. That was what he wanted it left at.
Oh.
Is
She
this
said on an- she
possibly
said-
a recurring situation with Al?
I'm sorry?
Is this maybe a thing that recurs with Al from time to time?
It could be because he's taken off a few other times. You know, and he said he's a very personal, private person, and she didn't really want a whole lot of it shared, but she wanted to share what she did with the emails she sent out, but only to those people. So she said, please just say it was a family emergency. So for those who didn't get the email, there was a family emergency. For those who did, they'll know a little bit more about it, but not much. But Al had really worked on getting this set up with the time and everything. So, and we practiced a couple times, and everything except for the sound on mine, which I still didn't get. I thought it was the fact that I hadn't unplugged my headphones, but apparently that wasn't what it was. I think there's another setting on Windows 10 that I have to go back and say, I don't want to hook the sound only to my headphones, because I'm not hearing myself in my speakers.
Lucky you.
Yeah, you're not that interesting.
That's probably what the problem is. So I want to welcome a few of the people outside of the R.E.D. that are here. We still have 15 out of the 17 that started off with us. So thank you guys for showing up.
Thanks for putting it on.
Yes, we're glad to be here.
So Gus, as an outsider, I'd like to make a quick comment. I enjoyed the tour. And I enjoyed your work too, Ed. Ed was the one that invited some of the Daylight Division folks.
Yes.
Because he's been appointed as our director, and he attended a leadership meeting the other day. And we are planning, the Daylight Division is planning to have a Zoom meeting on the 25th, I think. So we're going to see if that's going to work for us. But it seems to be a good idea to get us together in this time.
Yes, it is.
I appreciate you guys letting us kind of come on into your division meeting.
Anytime.
Yeah, the Zooming is great. I'm in a European train group, and they've been going weekly for about a month now, and it's really turned out to be something that's even expanded nationally. So it's fun to see what a whole bunch of different people are doing.
Yeah.
Good luck, Bruce. That should be fun.
And the division meetings are always open to everyone. We don't charge to go to them. And so there's no reason why anybody in the NMRA throughout the whole country can't Zoom in on us. I know that Dave finally showed up. Dave Bernier. Sorry about that, making you wait. So there's no reason not to have anybody who wants to. And also the NMRA is doing a live Facebook thing. It's been very, very interesting. I went on the Facebook, on the YouTube channel and what do they call it? Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And within a week of the presentations, they have each of them separate that you can log on to. And I watched a really interesting one on adding sound to locomotives using the iPhone speaker, which really sounded good and was cheap. The speakers cost $2, and they're very good speakers. So I'm probably going to work on doing something like that. But all the tours and all the stuff they're doing for their NMRA X conventions on Facebook Live, it's a little slow sometimes on Facebook Live because you got the delay between what the person's saying and when their lips moving, because some of them are from England and some of them from Australia and some of them from South America. They're from all over the world getting together to do this, and but it's fascinating to see all this stuff. And if you want to wait till it's edited and put up, you can go onto the YouTube channel, the NMRA's YouTube channel, and subscribe to that, and you can individual clinics that they put on. And they've done this, I think, 3 times now. It's very, very interesting.
They're actually going right now. They started at 3 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
And they're going until 3 o'clock this afternoon. I think you can get there if you go to the NMRA page, the national page, and go to events.
Yep.
And it shows what's happening on the various days. And the NMRA X is listed for today. And if you click on that link, you should be able to get there.
Yep.
I think they're going to be talking about 3D printing this afternoon.
Oh, that should be very interesting.
I've got to go. I think Mary's at the front door with my sandwiches.
Okay. Later.
I'm going to go as well. Thank you.
Hey, Adam, before you go, you hear me?
He's gone.
Yeah.
Are you still planning the 20th Golden Spike?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, my layout, my layout's operational. So to me, that garners a little golden spike ceremony. So on the 20th, I'll be hosting a kind of a brief ceremony. So if you wanna join, it'll be send me an email, penncentral13@gmail.com, and I'll send you the Zoom link. So yeah, that's what's going on. All right. Thank you. See ya.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
See ya.
When's our next meeting planned?
We hadn't set what the exact date would be yet. So we don't know exactly when it will be, but we will have another one.
Okay, good.
Hey, Gus, Dave
I've got to
Gregor
go
here.
too.
Yeah.
Take care. Thank you.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Gus. Hey, sorry I'm late. Me, Cliff Ballmer, and Chuck Kakinen were on the other link. And I was sending Al an email, and I remember, oh, that's right, there was another link. I didn't update my calendar, which had the old link on it.
Yeah, that Al was not able to do that, so his link was no longer valid. But even though he, wasn't there, and Lynn could not get into his computer to take it out.
Okay. So anyway, the three of us had a little chat. I sort of took over and opened it up for a little discussion. We just talked.
Good.
So I don't have their emails to let them know that what happened. So.
Well, I could. Who else did you say it was?
Chuck Hakainen
Okay, I don't know who that is.
and Cliff Balmer.
Cliff. Okay, I know Cliff and Denny, so I can get.
Yeah,
I can
and
get
Tom
them.
Tom Swearingen came in for a few minutes.
Okay. Very good.
All right.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Oh, you're welcome. Sorry I missed your presentation. I was looking forward to it.
Well, I did tell it to videotape it. So if it does, I can put it on YouTube or something like that.
Okay, good.
I
Yeah, I
know-
thought it kind of odd that nobody else joined us on the meeting. Then all of a sudden it dawned on me why you were over here.
Right.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Next time.
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Gus.
So when we have decided to do another one, anyone who's interested in putting up a little thing like Adam said he was interested in showing off his layout or showing off a project he's working on, contact myself at gus@companion.com or Al at, I think it's R.E.D. REDPCR at Gmail or something like that. His email is out there. So you can contact one of us and we'll make sure we get it hooked up so that you can have a little show and tell of what you're doing.
Hey, Gus. His
read
Al's
from,
email is alm@sonic.net.
Yeah, but he has another one for this
Ah,
that he was using.
okay.
But alm@sonic.net will work too.
Okay. Yeah. That's the
thing
only one I
read
have.
from Lynn said Al wasn't able to read emails or.
No, not at this time, but he'll be back. We're crossing our fingers.
All right. Well, Gus, thanks a lot for stepping up and putting this on today. It was fun.
Okay.
Yes, it was. Well,
Thank
I'm
you
going to
guys
check
all.
out.
Thank you all for coming.
Hasta la bye-bye.
That works.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Take
Bye.
care, everyone.
Goodbye.
People are slowly disappearing.